Okay, this video is to teach you how to go to the VB2 auction, live auction. So we'll log in, go down here, make sure the buyers tab is selected, hit the login. And since we have already been logged in, we won't have to put our password in and username. You will have to put a password and username in, then hit the login button, and it will take you to the buyer's account screen, which is where we're at right now. Scroll down here a little ways. The live auction is called the VB2. It starts at 12 o'clock noon facility time, whatever facility you may be watching your vehicle on. 12 o'clock sharp at noon is when that auction will start. So we're going to go ahead and click on VB2 button. We're going to come to this screen that says VB2 view sales and enter. We'll click on that button, and now we'll have several options. We see the facility over here. This facility happens to be in Anchorage, Alaska. It tells the start time, and of course you'll see it's all 12 o'clock noon. It tells the amount of vehicles that are going to be at that auction today, and there will be 84 of them. If we click on this screen here, that will give us a small bidding screen. This will give us a large bidding screen. For this demo, we're going to scroll down to California, Rancho, and we're going to come over here and go into lane A, which we see this particular auction has a lane A, a lane B, a lane C, and a lane D. These auctions are all going on simultaneously. You'll have to find out which lane your vehicle's in. We'll give that detail in another video on how to tell what lane your vehicle will be in. This video is just to teach you how to bid. We'll come over here, and I like to use the mini screen. It leaves part of my screen and I can go do other tasks. Okay. This here vehicle, that particular vehicle that we're watching sell, is item number 16. If that would have been your item, you'd find that in the preliminary bidding screen. It is a 2008 Honda Civic. Gives the color, gives the VIN, so that you can make sure you're bidding on the right vehicle. Just a short description of what the vehicle is. All of this information was listed on the preliminary bidding screen, which you will see on your vehicle. Alright, this here part of the screen is showing us who is bidding on the vehicle. We see here we have a countdown. That means 5 seconds after the last bid, this vehicle will close. So we can see it's getting close to closing here. It's a California bidder is bidding $8,000 right now. It's the last bid, and he hit it again. There's two California bidders, is what that is. We'll watch that as it sells there. Once again, it'll start counting down after the last bid. After the last bid, in 5 seconds, it's going to say sold. It comes up there. Now, if I want to bid, I would click on this button. That's one bid increment. This button is 3 bid increment, and this one here is a 7 bid increments. Well, what I mean by 7 bid, let's back up. That would be $700 jump to bid. This one here would be a $400 jump to bid. This here is the actual bid amount. I always use this here button here and click on that. If you click on that one, there it said sold, and we see it's what it sold for, and it actually sold. When it says selling all the way, that means that vehicle actually sold. If it would say on approval, that would mean that that vehicle was going to have to be approved by the seller before that they could actually award the car to the buyer. Once again, this button here will bid 1 increment. When that turned red like that, that meant somebody would come down here and jump the bid 4 increments, or $400. I personally wouldn't do that. It's strategy. Some people like to do it, and some don't. So. All right, we're going to watch one more vehicle, and you can kind of listen to the computer-controlled voice as it goes.
Going once, going twice. 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 Sold to the highest bidder. Selling all the way now.
That gives you kind of an idea of how bidding goes. I'm going to show you just what you can do with this screen. If you have two vehicles you would like to watch, we can move this screen over by just coming up here and clicking on your right key mouse button, and dragging that little window over there. Being careful at all times never to get over here while the auction's going. If you would bump your button here, it would automatically you would bid one bid increment. Oops, I made a mistake here. Let me put it to this side so we can see here. We're going to take and go to a Sacramento lane. This is in Sacramento, California, and I'm going to pull up that auction also. Now this can get kind of confusing at times. We're going to pull this window back up here just a second. Alright, now we've got two windows here. This one's still opening. It takes a little while for them to open. It gets a little confusing, and I like to, if I start bidding on two different auctions at the same time, I like to turn my speaker off, because you'll get overlapped. The voices will be overlapping one another, and it gets a little confusing. Alright, if I want to bid on this vehicle, I can go ahead and come on over here, bid on that one. At the same time, I can come over here and bid on this vehicle. This vehicle here is in Sacramento, as once again we can see here. It's item number 25, and it's a 2003 Ford Ranger. Of course, going down through this, I'm sure you understood what that is. You get all that information from the preliminary bidding page, so that you know that you are bidding on the same vehicle that you've seen during preliminary bidding. You can see, and if need be, you can go ahead and open up another screen depending on how big your screen is. So this here is the way that you would do a virtual bid, an actual bid. These bids start at 12 o'clock noon once again and go until they're finished. That could take an hour. It could take as much as 3 hours. Once they're completed, then those vehicles are awarded if the seller, of course, have all agreed on the prices, and you will then be the owner of that vehicle, and you'll have 24 hours to send your deposit into Sanders Auto and take care of the paperwork that way. Sanders Auto will send you an invoice and also the wiring instructions on how to pay for the vehicle. You'll wire that from your bank to our bank. We will in turn pay off Coparts. This takes just a little less than 24 hours. If you're in a hurry to get it, if you'll notify us immediately after you've won a vehicle, and it's early enough in the afternoon that you can go ahead and go to your bank and wire the money, normally by 9 o'clock or so the next morning, California time, the vehicle is ready to be released. The reason I say California time is because California is the corporate office, and we have to wait till the corporate office opens before the money can be applied to the account. So therefore, if you're in the east, if you would buy something in New Jersey, you would have to wait until California time, 8 or 9 o'clock, somewhere in that time period, before your car would probably be able to be released. But you should still yet be able to pick it up that next day after the auction. When we get done attending the auction, it's important to close them all out. You don't want to come up with a bid, because if you accidentally bid, you will be buying a vehicle that possibly you don't want. Once we get to that screen, we should be clear out of it, and we don't have to worry about bidding on something we don't want. That should conclude this video. We'll talk to you next time.